Today, I'm going to talk to you about two things. One, lawyers, and two, our Constitution and the history of our Constitution. First, let's talk about lawyers. Why lawyers and politicians are really bad. What is the job of a lawyer? To know the law? No, his job requires him to know the law. What is his job? The job of a lawyer is simple. It actually is very, very simple. It's to manipulate the law. Notice I said manipulate the law in their client's best behalf. A lawyer does not look for truth, does not look for justice, does not look for fair. Only to manipulate the law in their client's best behalf. They are taught that from the day they start college. They are brainwashed to believe that. If they are doing their job as a lawyer, a good lawyer, they will be manipulating the law. Whether the individual is guilty or innocent, it doesn't matter. It just matters how well they can manipulate the law. Now, where's the problem with lawyers being politicians? Well, in Congress, their clients is their political party, not the people they represent, for some reason. That's why I'm against political parties. And their job is to manipulate the law in the behalf of the Democrat Party or in the behalf of the Republican Party, not the individual. They are strongly, very much so, party people. Ted Kennedy was the epitome of a party person. Above all else, the Democrat Party. Manipulate the law. That's what it's all about. Not what's right, not what's fair, not what's just, but manipulate the law in their client's behalf. That's first. And you have to think about that. And that's why I have no political party. Because you are my voice. You are the people I will support. Not a party, not an organization, not a group. Each and every one of you. So when I win as president, you will be the voice that I bring to Washington, D.C. in the White House. Congress may be divided up by parties. The White House is going to be united by each and every one of us. We will not belong to a party. They both can line up against me. Maybe they'll be multi-partisan, because there's several different types of parties in Congress finally, working together against us, the people, we the people, for the people. So remember that. My job will only be, maybe as president, yeah, the leader of a great nation, but you are the bosses. You're the ones who will decide what we will do and how we will do it. That's my pledge, and that's the promise I've been making all along. Now, next thing, the Constitution. The history of the Constitution. Do a little history here. The reason is because I want you to understand something. When the Constitution was originally written up, there was no amendments in the Constitution. It was really written up originally by the main body of the Constitution, and the last one, Article 10, wasn't there yet because they had to ratify the Constitution. They had the ratification written down, but the states wouldn't do it. Why? Because they looked at the Constitution and said, whoa, wait a minute. That's too much power for one ruling body. They didn't want it. They wanted a guarantee of the individual. So the Bill of Rights was added. Now look at the Bill of Rights, and if you look at the Bill of Rights and understand that the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights is very much like the 10 commandments of the Christian religion. No, actually of a lot of religions, most religions, a lot of religions. The 10 commandments, the first part of the 10 commandments deal with God, the most important part of the 10 commandments. The first part of the Bill of Rights, first 4 amendments, deal with the individual rights. That's right. The first four deal with the individual rights. Then the second four deal with the individual judicial rights. Their legal rights under the law to be treated fair and honestly. Then we have the Ninth Amendment, which says that Congress shall not construe or deny or disparage or other restraints by the people. Congress shall not do that. But yet, today, our Congress tries. And the final 10th Amendment states that anything that's not strictly designated to Congress shall remain that of the states. The first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. That's why I call them the 10 Commandments of the Constitution. They weren't just put there because it was a nice thing to do. They were put there because a lot of states would refuse to ratify the Constitution without the Bill of Rights. That's why they're amendments. They're not written in. They're added to. Plus, they set precedents on what an amendment should be. Today, Congress is trying. Its done is to change. But you ever read the Second Amendment? It's a very important amendment. It says, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state and the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. That means, plain and simple, off limits, Congress. There's nothing you can do to limit those rights. That's what it says. And the First Amendment, everyone says, is freedom of speech. But the First Amendment has a lot of strong words in it. Prohibit, abridge. You know, those words are there for a reason. Congress shall not prohibit the free exercise, therefore, of an established religion. What does that mean? That means if some local community wants prayer in school, they have that right. And Congress cannot, under any circumstance, say no. The right of the people to assemble peaceably. Though they may be a little boisterous, they have that right. And Congress shall not. And the people have the right to petition their grievances against the government. The freedom of speech, the freedom of religion. That's in the very First Amendment. Second, no soldiers shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner. A soldier is any law enforcing body. Police officer's a soldier. A soldier is a soldier. The state or the federal government cannot force us to accept someone in the house working for the government without our consent. And the right of the people, the Fourth Amendment, to be secure in their home. And that is very important. You need to feel safe in your home in this country. Our government does not have the right to abridge upon that. That's the first four amendments, the personal, individual rights. The next four deal with the judicial system and how you, the individual, will be treated fairly and just by any legal governmental system, whether it's a local or all the way up to federal. Then the Ninth Amendment Kind of says Congress can't deprive you of your individual rights and privileges, whether it wants to. It cannot. And the last one says that what the Constitution doesn't say for our federal government belongs to the state. The Bill of Rights. And it was added because, and that's why there are amendments, they were not originally there. And states refused to ratify the Constitution without that. So I want you to do a little history checking and understand how your Constitution evolved. Understand what it stands for and how it protects you. That is the most important part of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Just think about that. JD.